Keeping an arch in your lower back, lift one leg up as high as you can, and then keep engaging your muscles and use your hand to aid lifting the leg higher. You stay here and feel your muscles squeeze the knee up, and your hand only helps as much as needed. And then you try to keep the height of the knee and slowly let go of your hand. Hold this for a few more breaths. And also check in the mirror that both sides of your waist stay the same length for this and the following exercise. And slowly lower the knee. Now move on to the other side, trying to keep a slight arch in your back, aiding with your hand to keep lifting higher and higher, but your muscles are still working. You should feel this in the center of your groin. Then slowly release the knee, trying to keep the height that you got. If this stuff is hard for you for balance, then just hold on to the wall or the chair if you need to. Slowly lower the leg. And now we'll do the first leg again, but this time the knee points out to the side, kind of like a straddle. Aid the lifting up as high as you can with your hand, but keep on squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Keep a slight arch in your lower back. And then slowly release the knee, try to keep the height. This should be shaking if you're not used to it, and you should feel the inside of your groin again. And then slowly lower down, move on to the second side. Point the knee out to the side, lift it up. Assist with your hand, squeeze it there. Slowly let go of the hand and keep the height as much as you can. And slowly lower the leg. Let's move on to the next exercise. For this one you need the chair. Your leg is going to be across the center line of your body. I found that having the sole of the foot touching a surface gives my nervous system some more input and makes me be able to release better into the stretch. You fold forward over your leg, either your hands are at your hips, behind your back, or the arms are straight overhead. This makes it a lot harder. The goal here is to fold from your pelvis and not around your spine. Finish up your last repetition and then switch sides. Remember that the heel should cross the center line of your body, and then again either hands at hips, behind the head, straight overhead, or not pictured, holding a weight in front of your chest, keeping the flat back hinging at the hips. And then you finish up your last repetition and we'll move on to the next exercise. For this one you can also hold on to something for balance. The idea is now to do slow leg lifts with a straight leg and flexed foot, trying to not use any momentum. And you can see that my body is slightly shifting and my standing leg is trying to bend. So with your standing leg and the rest of your core, you try to stop any other movements happening and keeping the leg lift to the front really strict. It's time to switch sides. I'm going to show you the front view here. The idea is that both sides of your waist should stay the same length, so you're not crunching up on one side, because this is going to make you use muscles other than the ones that you want to strengthen. It's time to finish up your last repetition, and then we'll move on to stretching our straddle. Get in a stance with about 90-degree angle between both of your legs. And now the same thing applies. You have your hands on your hips, behind your neck, straight overhead, or you can hold the weight in front of your chest. You fold down and come back up, keeping your legs straight, keeping your back flat, getting the movement from your hip joints. I actually ended up having my hands overhead because the straight arms blocked my range of motion. If I would be training this in my own time, I would probably do the version with the weight in front of my chest so I can really work into the end ranges of my straddle. Finish up your last repetition here before we move on. Now we have side leg lifts. It's the same principle as we just had in the front leg lifts. Try to avoid using any momentum. Try to block the shifting that your body wants to do as much as you can from your standing leg and from your core. Finish up your last repetition and it's time to move sides. Again, hold on to something if this is too challenging. Especially the side leg lifts are a lot harder in my opinion than the front leg lifts. Then finish up your last repetition on the second side. Time to move on. This one could get quite crampy for some of you if you have never done it before. For beginners, I recommend not doing the straightening the leg part. You just lift up and hold the knee here. But if you can, start straightening and bending the top leg, squeezing your glutes really hard. This is super tough. Also make sure your surface is stable because you can see that my chair nearly tipped over there. And finish up. Change to the other side. Time for the last rep on the second side, and we'll be moving on. Now you need sliders for your knees or your feet. If you are a beginner, I want you to do the next exercise in a froggy position, so the knees are on the floor and not the feet. Else you can go into a straddle stance like I'm doing and try to slide your feet apart and then squeeze them back together using your inside leg muscles, the adductors. You're supporting yourself on your hands, so it's also strengthening your upper body at the same time. If you're doing the froggy version, you will be on your elbows and forearms, so just adapt as needed. This is going to be the last strengthening exercise and it's super hardcore, so take your time in each repetition. Slowly and controlled, slide the legs open and squeeze them hard to get them back together. It's time for the last repetition, and on this one you can slide your legs open and chill in your froggy or in your middle splits for a few breaths. It's normal to feel some pulling, achy discomfort in your muscles when you stretch, but if you have sharp pinching sensations in your hip joints or knee joints, around the tendons, you might need some more individualized assistance and build some strength or change your technique. Slowly get out of your middle splits now. There's just one more thing to do before this quick stretch routine is ending. You can come to a standing position now. Your feet are together, toes touching, and then you hinge from the hips, trying to send your sit bones up to the ceiling or to the sky. Your back is flat. If you can touch your fingers to the floor, that's great, else you can just elevate them on some yoga blocks or a chair. And the idea is to inhale and lengthen your ribcage away from your pelvis. Exhale, relax into the stretch, but still keeping a flat back. And then you've reached the last part of this ending stretch. Relax your back, relax your neck, lower it all down. Now rounding is totally fine. Try to still on each inhale lift your ribcage away from your pelvis. Exhaling, relaxing deeply, letting your arms dangle, enjoying this full body front fold. Now slowly come up and you're done with day A.